This is the Dr. Berg Show. Live from the nation's capital, it's time to get healthy, lose weight, and feel great. Call now to speak with Dr. Berg at 866-561-4292. And now, Dr. Eric Berg.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Friday morning, Eastern Standard Time in Northern Virginia, and I'm here to take your calls. There are a lot of callers already. Been waiting for like a half hour, so let's just get right into it. And again, try to keep your questions to one question because there's so many people that want to call in. And by the way, if you want to call in, the number is 866-561-4292. Kaylin, you're from Atlanta. Go ahead. You had a question.
Hey, Dr. Berg, thank you very much. I have a very simple question. Water fasting or intermittent fasting?
Thank you so much for the simple questions. I like those. Okay, so let's just talk about that. There's a lot of research on fasting. There's not as much research on intermittent fasting. So that being said, here's my opinion on it. I think in order to do a water fasting, you have to work up to it because it's such a shock to the body. Sometimes people can't handle it. They go into a hypoglycemic reaction where they have blood sugar problems. So if you're doing a water fast and versus intermittent fasting, I would use a couple indicators to know if this is right for you. One is if you have extreme hunger and you have blood sugar problems like dizziness, feeling cold, lightheadedness, brain fog, and any of these other symptoms other than just a little bit of hunger, then I don't think you're ready for it. I think you should start with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is kind of like a gradient approach. You can start like just by doing 3 meals a day, then you could switch to 2 meals a day, then you could switch to 2 meals for a 4-hour period and fast for 20 hours, but you got to work up to it. So again, my whole viewpoint is I think it's good if you can do it, but I'm recommending intermittent fasting for the majority of the people because you get your nutrients, it's easier to go into, you get lots of benefits. Again, we don't know 100% all of the benefits, but we know it's like it protects the brain, it helps cardiovascular, it lowers cholesterol, it helps the heart, it helps memory, it helps reverse insulin resistance. Other than that, it doesn't do anything. But those are the points. So, good question. Hey, Jessica, you are on the air from New Jersey. Go ahead, you had a question.
Thank you, Dr. Berg. You've been a tremendous help to me. It's such a pleasure to speak with you. Let me get right to it. I just wanted you to know that I've been on a whole foods diet for 9 years. I've been really working on my health. I've come back from gallbladder issues. I've kept my gallbladder, my liver, and adrenals have been affected. But you've helped me lose about 25 pounds in 6 weeks just by bringing me to the realization of insulin resistance. I just never knew that. So my issue right now is I've come back from a lot of allergy issues and just having problems digestion in general. So right now I love nuts. I've come to the point where I can actually eat them again. I'm severely allergic, but now that I'm eating them more often, of course, I'm developing more issues with them, and I have such a hard time digesting meats. The only thing I seem to really digest well is raw salmon, and I just was wondering if you could suggest anything else as far as higher fat foods that I could try, or maybe a product that you would have that would help me digest fats and proteins better.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, Jessica, that it may be a simple problem. You're doing everything good, but now we still have this allergy issue, have a hard time digesting meats, which is an indication. There's one thing that kind of pops out when you said that. The common denominator is pH. Allergies you can't even exist in the body if your pH is correct. People develop allergies when the pH becomes excessively alkaline in the blood. Okay, excessively. It normally should be alkaline, but excessively alkaline, you start developing allergies. So the biggest tip that I would give you is I would drop your pH in your stomach, since that's like the only primary acid. All the other acids are secondary. So that means that if you took hydrochloric acid in the form of betaine hydrochloride or apple cider vinegar, I do have something called apple cider vinegar plus, which has betaine hydrochloride and apple cider vinegar in a pill form. But as an intermediate thing, you can just start adding more apple cider vinegar in the water, tablespoon, with water. Drink that before the meals, because if we can drop the pH, and you may need to also add an acidifier to the point where all of a sudden now you're digesting proteins, then we know your allergies are going to get a lot better, because it's the undigested proteins that then go through the body mistakenly, and you start developing allergies. That's how you get an allergy. So we want to drop the pH, make you more acidic, and that will actually help you. It also will help release bile, because in order to release bile, you need a pH of between 1 and 3, which is very acidic, and thereby releasing the bile. So you may not have to take bile salts, but if you just drop that pH, it should kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The ability to digest fats, digest proteins, and reduce allergies. So anything you can do to acidify the body will help allergies. There's one more thing. If you have seasonal allergies, or you can also acidify the body with something called ammonium chloride. So you can write that down. It's not toxic, or it's kind of it could be kind of a safe thing to take. It's called ammonium chloride, but that's a natural acidifier. And then the other acidifier would be like phosphorus as a supplement. But stick with the betaine hydrochloride right now and the apple cider vinegar. I think you'll be fine. Hey, Nadia, you're on the air. You're from Florida. Go ahead. You had a question.
Yes, sir. My question is that because I had breast cancer, I stopped having any sugar, and therefore I'm very thin now. So I've looked at your fat bomb recipe, and I've been eating it and adding a lot of more fats into my diet, but now I'm concerned about my liver. Is that going to affect my liver in any way or anything like that? Or what should I do?
So what you're saying is that you're a little concerned about adding this fat and destruction in the liver? Is that the question?
Right.
Okay, good. Let's talk about that. And I'm creating a whole series of videos on this because people are fat phobia. I mean, like what happened like in the, I guess, 50s, 60s, and 70s, there's been this transition against fat. Fat's the bad guy. In the 80s, all the big food companies went low fat. And low fat doesn't taste good. So they added more sugar. Like Snackable cookies, all of a sudden has low fat, high carbs, right? So everyone started getting fat. Fat has gotten a bad rap because people associate, well, if I have fat, then if I eat fat, that's going to create a problem. There's a couple pointers on that. If we take cholesterol, for example, you got LDLs, that's so-called bad cholesterol, right? It's not even cholesterol. It's low-density lipoproteins. It's a protein that carries cholesterol through the body. And there's 2 types of LDL, and I'm going to create a video on this so you can really get it, but this is the thumbnail sketch. You have one LDL that is not a problem at all. It's very fluffy, it's very big, and it kind of floats. It doesn't go into the lining of the arteries to clog it. And then there is a bad, higher density type LDL, which goes into the lining and starts causing a plaquing. When you get your cholesterol tested, they don't separate those 2 out. It's just one LDL. So how do you know even if it's high, if it's bad or good? You have to look at your triglycerides, okay? Triglycerides, those are blood fats. If the triglycerides are high and you have high LDL, then that's a problem. But here's the interesting information. When you want to, there's one of the LDLs that's okay, the big one, the fluffy one. When you eat fat, that will increase that okay LDL, the one that doesn't cause destruction. The bad cholesterol, the LDL, the bad one, which is the high density one, is only increased through carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates. So basically, it's kind of a technical answer to this. Eating fat is not going to, in any shape or form, destroy your liver or create a problem unless you're doing carbs at the same time. Okay? So as long as you cut the carbs out, there's not going to be a problem with saturated fats. And I know there's a lot of vegans too that are going to say, "Oh my gosh, no, it's the fat's really bad." But I'm gonna put a series of videos out that will give you the the other viewpoint and the other side. I consume a tremendous amount of fat, like my breakfast, which right now I think it's 10, 9, 10. I didn't have breakfast. I'm going to probably have a breakfast at 11, but I'm going to do 4 eggs. I'm going to do a lot of cheese. I'm going to do no sugar, high quality bacon. And I've been doing that for a long, long time, and I put a lot of people on it, and it actually improves their cholesterol. So I guess that's a long answer to no, it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to harm the liver. What's going to harm your liver is the carbs. But looks like you got that out of the diet, so you're going to be totally fine. Hey, Kim, you're on the air. San Diego, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg. Thank you for taking my call. I have 2 quick questions for you. My first one is I have a problem with like tea grinding. I grind my tea a lot at night. Is there something I can do about it? And my second question is I bought your insulin support, and I know it says take with meal. Since I'm doing intermittent fasting and I only eat once a day, so can I take it, without food, like in the morning? Because I want to take it more than just 1 pill at night, because that's when the time I'm eating.
A very, very good question, Kim. Okay, so let's answer the first question. Grinding, bruxism, that's really a vitamin B1 deficiency. So you just need more B1. I would take nutritional yeast, maybe a teaspoon of that. And the hard part about the nutritional yeast is trying to figure out how to consume it, because it's a powder. I mean, what I do is I just take the teaspoon, put it in my mouth, and it gets all sticky, and eventually kind of gets out of my teeth. But anyway, that would give you the B1 to handle that symptom. On a rare case, you might need specifically just B1, but make sure it's a natural version. Okay, so that should handle that. The insulin support formula that she's talking about is mainly to help dysfunctional insulin. Doesn't have to be taken with food at all. You can have it on an empty stomach. You can even take all of it at the same time. It's not going to be a problem. Okay? All right, so hey, Lori, you are on the air. You're from Rhode Island. Go ahead.
Hi, I've been suffering with, for about 15 months with stiff and painful knees. Had an x-ray at the orthopedic. It's fine. They said everything looks normal. Bought your massage tool. It really helped, but it didn't fix it all the way.
Okay.
So I'm noticing a lot of your videos. You're talking about too much calcium and taking apple cider vinegar. So I'm wondering, first question is, could joint pain, knee pain, be due to too much calcium? And if you say yes, is there anything else plus to do with the apple cider vinegar? And then the other thing is these cherry hemangiomas. I'm getting them on my skin in a lot of places, and I'm wondering if what is that caused by? I read once a long time ago it was related to liver, but that's all it said in this certain book, that it's related to liver, and I don't know if you agree with that, or you could tell me how to stop them, or
yeah, I think
where they come from.
You're talking about that condition where you have these little spider veins that are kind of coming out in little different spots, right?
No, they're like little red, circular, and they rise up. They're raised. They get bigger and bigger.
Right, but they're tiny little red things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, question, Lori, have you done the eating plan that I suggested with low carbs and ketogenic and intermittent fasting? Have you tried that yet?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm doing that, and that is helping.
Okay. All right, good. So let's just talk about that for a second. Let me ask a question. Are you taking calcium right now?
No, I stopped taking it because I was taking the one you said not to.
Okay. Yeah, so if you've had a history of taking calcium carbonate, which people don't realize is like eating a rock, chewing on cement, I don't even recommend taking calcium unless you have bone loss, osteopenia, or cramps in the calf. I mean, you could take some occasionally, but don't get in a habit of taking a lot of it, because the calcium is, it's much better to get it in a food source with some high quality cheese. I'm from Wisconsin, so of course I'm going to plug that. But the thing is that if you have stiffness in the knee, that tells us that either you're lacking vitamin K2, that has a purpose of driving the calcium out of the joints and the arteries, so that's one thing, K2, or your pH needs to be more acidic, So yes, so I would recommend to the apple cider vinegar to drop the pH to allow calcium to be mobilized. When your pH is not correct, when your blood pH is slightly too alkaline, you get allergies, but you also get calcium in the soft tissue. On the eyes is cataracts, on the teeth is tartar, on the joints is arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, on the kidney is kidney stones. So what you can do is drop the pH. There's a couple things that you can do to drop the pH. You can take betaine hydrochloride, apple cider vinegar. Another one that works really good for stiff hands and stiff knees is ammonium chloride. That's an acidifier. They used that back, I think, in the 40s. In some of the arthritis medications, they used as kind of a extra, I think a extra product that was like inert or a binder. It's called ammonium chloride in some of these medications. But when they took it out, the medication stopped working, and they realized, wow, you can actually help arthritis, stiffness with ammonium chloride. I think you could get it maybe online, find somewhere where you could find it. That's a good acidifier. It just drops the pH, and it's pretty safe. And then you can also do phosphid or phosphorus liquid. Standard Process has a good phosphid liquid. These are all just things that you could try, but again, it's one of those things where I don't know exactly. I just know we need to drop your pH, and we need to add the K2, and there's several ways to do it. Okay? So, and also, as you drop insulin over time and you stop taking the wrong kind of calcium, you should improve over time. Okay, so Arlene, go ahead. You're on the air. You're from Delaware.
Hi, Dr. Berg. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
One is I'm on the ketogenic diet, and I've been getting like a twitchy feeling and maybe even a jittery feeling throughout my whole body. And I was wondering if that one of the side effects. And also I wanted to know about what is the maximum of carbs I should have to lose weight. And you had also suggested that when I talked to you last week, you said for a white tongue that kefir is good for it. But I've been looking at the kefir in the grocery stores, and they have like 12 carbs. So is that high fat, low carb? Is that good for that program?
Very good question. Okay, so let's just kind of go through it. First question is the twitch and the jittery feeling. It sounds like you need more electrolytes. As you do the ketogenic diet, you drop sugar, thereby you're going to lose water weight and you're going to lose electrolytes, especially potassium. So you can put that back in. You need a good electrolyte powder to do that. So that's one thing. And then also the other thing, if you have, especially like the keto flu, you might need the B vitamins, so nutritional yeast. So electrolytes and nutritional yeast are essential when you start getting into this situation because people just need more. That should handle that. And sometimes you need sodium, a little more salt. So again, it could need a combination. The maximum carbs you want is 50 grams per day. I'm going to recommend that you don't worry about vegetable carbohydrates. Okay? The lower the carb you do, if you get down to 20, the faster the weight loss. Okay? If you have a ruined metabolism, you need to stick with 20. But don't worry about the vegetable carbohydrates. The white tongue is a completely separate problem, and yes, kefir does have some sugar, so it's almost like it's kind of conflicting. So you may want to just do a little bit of kefir. Make sure it's I like the grass-fed, plain, not low fat, the whole fat. So just have a little bit, and that should over time improve that situation. And of course there's other things you can do, probiotics, but I think that should be enough. All right, good question. All right, so Patricia, you're on the line. You have a question. You're in the Bronx, New York.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I wanted to thank you for all your videos and say hello to Karen because I love her too. And I have a question regarding dietary guidelines that I should follow. I have my A1C, last A1C was 6.6. I'm not on any medication, but I'd like to get it into non-diabetic range. I also have gallstones, so I want to be able to find out what sort of ratios in the macros that I should be eating that's going to get me into that sort of ketosis that'll lower my insulin levels, but also not be so high fat that I'm having a gallstone problem.
Okay, good. So the first question is your A1C is 6.6, so it sounds like you're doing the right thing. It probably came down. We want to get it down to the low 5s. A1C is an average of blood sugars for 3 months, so it's a really good indicator of if you are a diabetic or not. Okay, so you're on the right program for that. I would suggest supporting even more with certain nutrients. You may want to try a product I have called Insulin and Glucose Support, which kind of supports insulin excess and blood sugars, and it has 10 different nutrients in it. That will also help you a lot. But as you actually fix insulin, the gallstones will improve because high insulin will cause gallstones. The other thing is like to dissolve gallstones, there's a product I have called Gallbladder Formula, which has bile salts in it. As you do a ketogenic diet, obviously it requires more fat. So some people have been bile deficient, so that's why they have stones. So we might have to add actual bile salts, it's called Gallbladder Formula, to start dissolving those stones to keep the gallbladder clean. However, there's one more thing I think is the most important thing to focus on, that's intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, when I just released a video on that, will cause the gallbladder to rest between meals, thereby concentrating bile, thereby dissolving the stone. And that will really help you, because you have a ketogenic diet and then you have intermittent fasting. Two different separate things. They're not the same. So people actually think that intermittent fasting is part of a ketogenic diet. It's not. It's something that I'm recommending to add on top of everything, which you're doing this meal planning, and then you're not eating and you're eating back and forth. So that's one thing. The other thing is to stimulate bile, you have to add fat to the diet. If you go on a low-fat diet, you could end up with gallstones because you're not producing the bile. So it all has to do with bile. Watch some more videos on the bile, but I think that will give you a head start. Okay, Patricia? All right, so Danielle, you're from Brooklyn as well. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Yes, another New Yorker. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. My question has to do with weight gain due to a cortisone or 2 cortisone shots. So let me just give you a little bit of background first. Up until 3 years ago, I never had an issue with weight gain. I was 118 pounds, 5 feet 4 inches, so pretty petite. Then I got 2 cortisone shots, and after the second one, I gained 10 pounds. I have belly fat now. I have fat on my arms, which I never had before. And I'm consistently gaining weight, and I can't lose it for the life of me, and I don't know what to do. What I did do was try giving up snacks in between meals, because I also had bloating, thanks to you, and that resolved the bloating, but it didn't get rid of any of the fat. Now, what I also discovered is that I have fatty liver, highish cholesterol. I've got low energy. Just walking up a flight of stairs, I'm exhausted after that. So I don't know what the issue is. Is it insulin resistance? Is it thyroid issues? Like, what is going on with my body? I've never had any problems before.
Okay. It's a similar thing that happened to me. I was doing fine. Well, I wasn't doing fine. What kicked me is that cortisone shot back when I was late 20s. I had poison ivy, and they used cortisone, and then I got it again, and they used cortisone, and all of a sudden every year I was doing cortisone 5 years in a row. That is some nasty stuff. Cortisone is an adrenal hormone, and so when you take it, it actually shuts down your adrenals, it weakens the adrenals. So you are an adrenal fatigue issue. So that's probably what's going on. The adrenals are kind of inactivated, and now they're not working like they should, and that's what's going to then cause a rebound effect to add more cortisol, and that's why you're getting more fat. So here's what you need to do. You need to support the adrenal gland, and I have a lot of data, videos on that. I have a lot of nutritional things for that. You can research that on your own, but as far as eating goes, you definitely need to do the ketogenic diet. You need to do intermittent fasting, follow it to a T, because that will start to fix the fatty liver, keep the vegetables high to keep the fat coming through the liver. And so that will take the pressure off the adrenals too, because you'll be dropping insulin. When you drop insulin, you drop stress to the adrenals. It doesn't increase stress, it decreases stress. The other thing is that to repair the damage from cortisone shots, you need to get a high quality thing called colostrum. Get in a powder, get the good stuff. It's a little bit pricey. You take it before bed, start off with a half a teaspoon in some water, drink it, and then gradually go up to a teaspoon and a heaping teaspoon. Why? Because apparently that has a lot of properties to repair damage from cortisone. It helps the gut, it helps the liver, and you would take it helps the immune system. You would take it over a period of probably 6 months. I've seen incredible success with that. I've taken it before. So that's really what you need to do. Support the adrenals, continue to support the insulin resistance through the diet, and then add the colostrum. All right, great. Say, George, you're on the air. You're from Toronto. Go ahead.
Hey, doctor, how are you? Thanks
Good.
for doing the live show. This is great.
Sure.
So first, I actually came up with a couple other questions, but my first question is in regards to the fat intake. I know you talk a lot about calories, but what I don't know is the total amount of grams for fat and protein, maximum or minimum per day. So I was wondering if you could shed some light on that.
Okay.
And then I had another couple questions just in regards to the keto. You know how when you first do a keto, you lose a lot of weight, but when you do second or third attempts at it, your body doesn't adapt. And I just wanted to find out, am I still going to be okay if I just keep to it? Or just some more information on why the body does that and what I need to be doing.
Okay. So question, George, do you do ketogenic, you lose some weight, and then you go off the program?
I did it years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, but this time around, now I just started actually on Sunday. I found you online, and I started doing it again, and it's just not coming off as fast as it was.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get some information on that, but I'm afraid that I'm worried about the grams because I'm not sure how many grams of fat and protein I need per day.
Okay. Good.
And another question on that is calories per day. I'm not sure how many I actually need to have.
Yeah. Okay. All right, George, so let's just talk about that in general. I have a video on that. It's really a variable thing. I can't, not even knowing your size, your shape, your bone density, your height, I can't tell you how many grams and calories exactly, but here's the rule of thumb. That is, the fat grams is the wild variable that can go from very small to very high. If you take an athlete, they need to seriously do some massive amount of fat to be able to function. If you take someone sedentary, they can't do very much. So I always like to start off by not adding fat to the diet. Just consume your normal food in a whole fat form. Don't go low fat proteins. Like even if you're going to have hamburger, do the fattiest kind you have. Don't go lean. Okay, so you're just not adding the coconut, you're not adding the oil and that type of thing. So you're just going through like that. And then you can start to play around by adding a little bit more, like a keto bomb. But here's the thing, George, if your metabolism is very slow, which it sounds like it is, and you start adding a certain amount of grams, like too much, you're just going to burn the keto bomb, the dietary fat, but not your own fat. A much more important principle would be to do the intermittent fasting with the ketogenic, and so you can start healing your metabolism through healing insulin. And then you'll be able to tolerate more fat. But that's a kind of a question that it's really hard to do on the air because I don't even know what you look like, I don't know your size, but it sounds like you're going to be the kind of case that you're not going to be able to do a lot of fat right off the bat, and you just want to play around. As far as calories, the same thing. I would shoot for not worrying about calories, but going based on satisfying your body with the recommended eating plan that I recommend, and then do 3 meals, no snacks, and then go to 2 meals, no snacks. Because that way, even though you're really satisfied, you're going without calories between the meal longer and longer and longer and longer. That alone will allow you to heal metabolism and speed up your metabolic rate and correct that. So I know I couldn't give you the exact answer on that, but that's my answer and I'm sticking to it. Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to take a quick little commercial break right here. And I just wanted to, last time I did a flash sale, there's a whole bunch of people who didn't get in on that, so they said, can you do it one more time? I will do it one more time. So this flash sale is basically for my new products. You can go to Amazon. I put some links down below of 5 products, and there's 25% off for 1 hour between 9:30 now and 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, today, tomorrow, and the next day. So I'll just really kind of quickly just give you a summarize of what these flash sales are. So this is raw wheatgrass juice powder. It's lemon. This is awesome stuff because it's not a grass powder, it's a wheatgrass juice powder, organic, completely raw, nothing heated over 106 degrees, grown on an ancient seedbed, so it has the trace minerals. 1 teaspoon is equivalent to about a tray of wheatgrass. So it's like 50 cents per teaspoon. So you're getting this tray of wheatgrass. So I take it on my fasting period of time. I mix it with water, drink it down. I put kamut in there, which is an ancient grain which actually adds more selenium. And so it'll definitely increase your energy and it tastes good. I put some lemon, no sugar, there's stevia. This is an awesome one. That's on Amazon. This one, joint pain relief formula, I basically created this for myself because I have a lot of old injuries. And what's in here is not just the standard glucosamine and the MSM and all that, but it has adrenal extracts because the adrenal gland is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory glands because it produces hormones. It also has actual collagen that's called TendoGuard, which actually supports and regenerates tendons and ligaments, okay? And it has some of the other most powerful anti-inflammatory. So I take this for myself and I created it. So if you have any inflammation, that would be a good thing. This one, estrogen balance, getting a lot of good feedback. This is for estrogen dominance. For women, hot flashes, like cystic acne, hot flashes, just too much estrogen. And menopausal, it's great. For men, it'll help raise testosterone because it lowers estrogen. It's a natural form of a concentrated cruciferous called DIM, D-I-M, and with a lot of other cool things. Okay, so that's that. Insulin and glucose support. Some person just called. I just mentioned that. This is 10 different powerful nutrients to support insulin directly. It's good for insulin resistance, but mainly weight loss. Not directly, but indirectly by supporting insulin. You can take this with meals or without meals, but this will help the A1C, help balance A1C, blood sugars. So it gives you the edge. And you know, we talked about high levels of cortisol and insulin, but what about cortisol and estrogen? But what about insulin? So this is the one that handles the insulin, which is probably one of the most big dominating hormones that are creating all sorts of problems with everyone. And then lastly, the hair formula. This has a combination of nutrients, trace minerals, natural B vitamins, biotin, silica, and it also has protein that builds the hair with one other additional thing that decreases something called DHT, which is a powerful form of testosterone that can lead to alopecia. So it handles a lot of different causes of hair problems, but getting a lot of good feedback on this. So if you have any hair problems, you might want to try it. So again, this is a flash sale. It's only for an hour. I'm doing this in exchange for an unbiased review. So if you wouldn't mind, on Amazon, give me a review when you feel like you got some feedback. And so, yeah. So thank you very much for that commercial. Let's get back to the next caller. And Tamara, you're on the air. You're from Houston. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hi. I've been doing a keto diet since last Wednesday, and I am getting really discouraged because I am craving sugar.
Okay.
I mean, I want to rip into a box of chocolate, and it is just really, I'm really feeling defeated because I'm craving sugar.
Well, I'm glad that you called.
I'm not eating carbs or sugar, but, you know, I've been living on this all my life, and I'm 39 years old, and I'm feeling discouraged.
Well, I'm glad you called because now we can dissect why you're craving sugar. So can I ask you a couple quick questions?
Yes.
When did you start it?
I started last Wednesday.
Okay, last Wednesday. So we know right there you're not adapted yet, so that's one thing. So can you tell me roughly in like fastest time possible, like what you eat in a given day?
Okay, I'll probably eat some eggs with olive oil and some bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And then for lunch, I might eat some ground beef with cabbage, with mushrooms and bell peppers and onions. And for dinner, I might eat some steak with broccoli, and I'll saute onions and mushrooms and salt. I use Himalayan pink salt and some cumin powder and oregano seasoning.
Okay. And
so that's basically.
Tell me what time you have breakfast?
I'm sorry?
What time do you eat breakfast in the morning?
I ate breakfast this morning at about 6:30.
Okay. Are you hungry that early in the morning?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay. And then next question, when do you crave? Is it in the later part of the day or after a meal or when?
It's after a meal.
Okay. All right. So there's a couple things that you can do. Number one, the first thing you want to do, since all night long you fasted, you're breaking the fast by the breakfast when you're not even hungry. I would not eat breakfast until you are hungry. Go as long as possible. And you want to keep doing that until you can go at 4 hours after you wake up. Then you eat your first meal. Why is that? Because every time you eat, you spike insulin. And then now it's going to create low blood sugar. Now you're going to be craving. Okay? The other thing is that I would recommend going to my channel and make what's called a keto bomb. They're little cookies. There's different kinds. And use that as your substitute. You freeze them. They're delicious. I mean, these chocolate cookies, like it's almost like you're eating sugar, but you're doing xylitol. So that's one thing you want to have. But have those after the meal that you're craving the sweets, okay? Now, if you started this last Wednesday, you lived on your sugar whole life, it's going to take, honestly, probably a couple more weeks before you can really get into this adaptation. But in the meantime, we want to get rid of the cravings. And so that's what I want you to do. Add a little more potassium. You might want to get that as a supplement. I have my electrolyte powder, but I won't get that in until the end of next week because I ran out. So that's one thing. And then the last thing is increase more actual salads. And I think you'll just hang in there. It's going to happen. So those are the things I would do. And then once the cravings go away, that means that your cells have adapted completely. Now they can run on fat. Don't give up, okay? So just keep going. So LV, you're from Utah. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hey, I am loving your videos and loving your program. Since being on your program 2 months ago, or starting 2 months ago, then I'm down 23 pounds,
wow.
And I can't wait to send in my before and after pictures to you when I'm all done.
Awesome.
And I want to say hello to Karen as well. We love her.
Okay.
And the question I have for you is about intermittent fasting. So there's three things I'm wondering if I'm breaking my fast with. So the first thing is juice from a whole lemon in the morning. Mm-hmm. The second thing is kombucha. And the third thing is a magnesium, it's Natural Calm magnesium supplement before I go to bed tonight, or excuse me, at night, every night. And I was just wondering if those three things might be breaking my fast.
Okay, great. No, the lemon juice is not going to be a problem. You can do a whole lemon, not going to be a problem. Kombucha, there's different kinds. The one that you want to probably get is the one with 2 grams of sugar. Don't get the one more than that. Now, kombucha actually is interesting because even though it's made from sugar and it has a little bit of sugar, the lactic acid yeast actually helps insulin resistance. So it's kind of like a balancing, and most people can do a half of a cup of kombucha without any problem. On a rare occasion, if the metabolism's really stopped, you might want to not do it, but I think you'll get away with that if you do that once a day. Now, the calcium, magnesium, not a problem. No, I think it's a CalMag. I think it's just a magnesium product. I think that's going to be fine. I would continue to take that before going to sleep because that's just magnesium. And I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think I would just ride the wave, and I think you're doing fine. And those 3 things are not a problem. Hey, Carmen, you're from Florida. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, doctor. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I have a problem all the way around. I'm almost 44 years old. In the last 3 years, I gained so much weight. I think it is, I'm not sure. They removed my gallbladder, and ever since then, I just feel like I need to eat the world. What it doesn't matter if
you said, what did you say? You just said after something you didn't...
Oh, they removed my gallbladder.
Got it. You removed the gallbladder. Okay, got it.
And after that, I gained like 60 pounds, and I feel like I need to eat everything in the world. And I cannot have any dairy products, and I just seem not to stay away from them. And of course, my joints hurt now. And another thing that I notice is that I'm forgetting things. Like I can do something, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, wait, did I did that?
Wow.
Or where did I put that card?
Okay.
Which I know that right before that, I know where I put it, but then I don't remember where I put it.
Wow. Okay. Carmen, do you have right shoulder pain or neck stuff?
I have, yeah, my shoulder hurts, but it's been hurting for, I will say, at least 20 years, but it doesn't hurt all the time. It hurts once in a while.
On the right side?
Yes.
Okay. That's the gallbladder. You need to get the massage tool and start working on your gallbladder. It's underneath the right rib cage, and you massage that. So in fact, let me just show you something really quick on the board.
Okay.
So basically, here's your belly button right here. Here's the chest, here's the arms. There's your gallbladder, which was right there, okay? Now they removed that thing. So what you want to, what's happening now, you have one little tube that connects from your liver to the intestines. So that means that you have low bile. Low bile means that you can't absorb the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, K2, and some of the other essential fatty acids that you need to get healthy, lose weight, metabolize, all these other things. So now, what you need to do is you need to basically, it's very simple, you need to add the gallbladder formula I have, which has the bile salts, it has stuff to lubricate the bile. It will start to put back in what you're missing. But there's a nerve that goes right up here to the right shoulder. So you're going to have to get the massage tool to work on rubbing and massaging underneath the right rib cage, but also on the left side, because now your pancreas is compensating by making more enzymes. It's called lipase. So when you don't have enough bile, the pancreas has to make more of this. Well, guess what else is going to happen when you strain the pancreas? You're going to increase more insulin. So it's going to create more problems. People that have insulin resistance and insulin problems have low enzymes. People that have enzyme problems have higher insulin because of the pancreas has to work harder. So those are the things that you can do to the point where you don't have any pain down right there. The intermittent fasting is going to be very important for you. The ketogenic diet is going to be very important, but over time. But I would add the gallbladder formula. You may need to add some acidifiers like betaine hydrochloride to your stomach because that will also help the gallbladder work. If you take the gallbladder formula and you get any reactions at all, that just means you need more stomach acid, some apple cider vinegar in the pill or the actual solution. And then do the acupressure on both sides. You're going to find that then that will start releasing more bile and you'll start losing weight. The pains will go away, the symptoms go away. So that's what I'm going to recommend.
What about for my memory?
Plug back in here. Okay. Does that make sense, Carmen?
For my memory?
Well, just to actually handle the reason why your memory is a problem, because depression is an essential fatty acid deficiency, and also your brain is mostly fat. So you're not getting the nutrition to the brain. You're probably having insulin resistance to the brain, and there goes the memory. In the brain, when you have insulin resistance, it destroys something called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is like the relay switch between your database memories and you accessing them. So the relay switch is broken. So now you're like going somewhere, where did I park, where did I lose my keys, that type of thing. That can be improved by improving the insulin resistance to the brain and also the gallbladder, because it's a coincidence that you had that out and things went downhill, just simply because you're starving the brain of nutrition and forcing the pancreas to work harder, thus spiking the insulin. Okay? This is what that treatment device looks like. And you'd work on the gallbladder. I have a whole technique. I show you how to do it. All right, great question. Georgia, you're on the line from Florida. Oh, it's Gloria, sorry.
Gloria.
Hi, this is Gloria.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, you had a question.
Yes, I do have a question. I watched your video on intermittent fasting and what to drink, and you said no coconut water.
Yeah.
And so I am like milk intolerant. I was doing the full fat heavy cream in my coffee, but it was irritating me, so I switched over to coconut milk. And the question is, can I drink coconut milk?
Yeah, good question. Sorry?
Excuse me. I'm on the keto diet.
Yeah.
2 months. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So yeah, my suggestion was not to drink the coconut water. You can do the coconut milk, but not the coconut water. Why? Because if coconut water has a lot of sugar in it, or sugar grams, coconut milk does not. So since you're milk intolerant, you can do the coconut milk, not a problem. Okay? So Miriam, you're from Southern Virginia. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Yes, hi, Dr. Berg. Thank you so much for all your videos on YouTube. I watched almost all of them.
Okay.
They have helped me a lot. Yes, I have two questions that I would like to ask. One, it's regarding fasting. I'm a Muslim. I'll be starting to fast in a week or so. I'm doing the ketogenic diet, so I'd like to, if you have any advice on what to do, because I will not be drinking any, water. We're not allowed to drink water throughout the fast. So it's going to be from sun, in the morning till sunset at night. So my other question is, since I've been on the ketogenic diet, I'm having back pain, on my side. I don't know if it's related to my gallbladder, so I ordered your gallbladder formula. I'll be getting that tomorrow from Amazon.
Yeah.
So I will try that, see if that will help.
Okay, great. So
that's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so so the good thing is that you can do Ramadan. You could do the eating the meal in the early morning or late at night. Okay, when the sun goes down, and completely have the whole day where you're fasting. Just make sure that you don't add carbs. Make sure that the quality of eating is good, and you can do that. I think that's perfect. It's like your fast right there, your intermittent fasting right there. So you do right before the sun goes up, early morning, and then when the sun goes down, go ahead and eat again. So you get 2 meals. So I think you're going to be fine in that. Now that pain that you have, it definitely could be either gallbladder or a kidney stone. Okay? So I don't know which one it is, but just to make sure, because when you do a ketogenic diet, sometimes you start to, you could have a tendency to get more of a stone, especially if you're doing spinach and nuts and things like that. That's high in oxalate stones. So here's what you need to do. If you have back pain like that, one thing is to drink more water with potassium chloride. That's in my electrolyte powder. You can do that, or just get potassium citrate. Don't do chloride. Do potassium citrate. So you can get it in a supplement, or you can get it in the electrolytes. But you take that at least 1,000 milligrams twice a day, because the citrates split off, and that will dissolve the oxalate stones. In addition to that drink, add lemon. Okay. So lemon juice, you can have it in a bottle or just actual lemons, and you start drinking more water with more lemon, which is going to give you citrate and the potassium citrate. So you drink that. That will help two types of stones, the uric acid stones or the oxalate stones, which are the most common. And then that way, that pain should go away. But the pain in your back could be either kidney or gallbladder, and we don't know what it is, but I would just do both of those and the pain should go away. If it doesn't, you might get an ultrasound and see what's going on if there's a little stone in there, because if there's a kidney stone, obviously you want to handle it, but you can handle it with diet. Okay? I think I answered your question. Okay, so then we have Raj Baer from Toronto.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Actually, my question is, I have so many questions. I am a really big fan of you. So my daughter, she's 16-year-old, and she has the last time periods in December, and she don't have the periods. So if I go to the doctor, they're going to give her the birth control pills, right? So she can use your the estrogen balance or the formula, that one she can use.
Yeah, that's gonna because when you have estrogen dominant, you become infertile. So that would be the first thing I would do to clean that up, especially if someone is younger like that. That's an estrogen dominant thing, and even if there's some pesticides or things that are mimicking that, that's what I would recommend, the estrogen balance with DIM. In addition to that, what you might want to do is make sure that she gets on the eating plan that I'm recommending, especially a little bit more fat and cholesterol, which basically is a precursor for building up those hormones, especially estrogen, or like progesterone and some of the other hormones. So just to make sure she has that. And there's a couple other things, but that would be like the first thing I would do. And also, royal jelly is another supplement that you can get to kick in the fertility and the cycle to make it work better. I recommend that as well. Did you have another question?
So where I can get that?
The royal jelly, any health food store online.
All right. And one more thing, my husband, he has the high cholesterol.
Yeah.
But we try so many things, and now he's taking the 5 milligram the Crestron, and that is helping her. But before we check, his hormones is really lower side, so he can use the testosterone, the formula.
Okay, so is he on the eating plan that we're recommending?
Yeah, because before the 5 years ago, I am doing the same thing here in Toronto. One doctor is I follow him, and that time I lose weight, he lose weight too. But he check those things, but not really help. So he can using that plan, the ketogenic.
Yeah, he needs to do the ketogenic plan. One thing for cholesterol would be the K2, D3 with red yeast. That's very powerful, lower cholesterol. But here's the point I want to make. Excuse me. When you have people that do the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, sometimes their cholesterol will go up, okay, even the LDL. And I want to explain that. First of all, your cells, your fat cells, are composed of triglycerides and cholesterol. People don't realize that. Like in your cells, in your fat cells, there's stored cholesterol in there. So when you lose weight, these cells are going to shrink, right? So you're going to release this fat. The fat's going to be burned. The triglycerides are going to be burned, but not the cholesterol. Cholesterol is never burned as fuel in the body. It's used as a structural material to build cell membranes. So naturally, your cholesterol is going to go up for a period of time. But as long as your triglycerides are down, you're totally safe, because then we know it's not the bad type of cholesterol. It's basically an LDL, which is just coming out of the fat cells, going through the liver, going through the bile. As long as you have a healthy liver and you have good bile release and there's no backup there, you're totally fine. In fact, I will create a video on that, but that's why it's high. And then if someone goes on a statin drug and lowers it, it's just like now they have all these other symptoms. So I got to do a video on that because that's a common question. Hey, Whitney, you're on the air. You're from Southern Maryland. Go ahead.
Hi there, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I caught a little bit of the caller earlier that talked about not having a gallbladder and the health problems that ensued after. And I've had all kinds of problems since the removal of my gallbladder. Now I've been on ketogenic, and I'm about I don't know, maybe about 40 to 45 pounds overweight, or I was. So I started ketogenic about three months ago. I'm down 25 pounds. I feel fantastic, but I tell you what has made a huge difference, on a side note, is that electrolyte powder. I started using that about a month ago, and I would not be able to do ketogenic without it. Now, I just started last week doing a bulletproof coffee with the butter and the MCT oil, and I can go all day long without eating. I'm just not hungry, and eat my dinner, and I try and stay within an 8-hour window. Is that okay for me to be doing without a gallbladder?
Good question. Okay. As long as you're absorbing all of the fat-soluble vitamins, because without a gallbladder, you can't concentrate bile. But because you're only eating like real one meal and then you're doing the bulletproof coffee, the other meal, you're not going to need as much bile. So you may be okay with that. But the thing that we want to find out is you got to try to get as much nutrition from that one meal as possible, because there's not a lot of nutrition in MCTs other than that fat. There's not enough vitamins and minerals. There's a couple, but there's not the whole complete complex. So you're going to have, that one meal is going to have to be pretty darn concentrated with nutrients. So you might want to have, instead of like a salad, do a kale salad. Instead of like regular, I don't know, chicken, you would do more salmon, wild caught. Just do real high quality foods, and then you're doing the electrolyte balance, which is going to give you that. And then you might need to enhance the B vitamins a little bit, maybe with nutritional yeast. And I think you're going to be okay. I don't think you're having a problem with this bulletproof coffee because it's able to sustain you. So until you start seeing other problems, I would ride the wave and do it. But at some point, if you start having problems that are gallbladder related, I would take the gallbladder formula after that one meal, and that will just put the icing on the cake. Well, maybe I shouldn't talk about icing on the cake. All right. Hey, Jenny, you're on the air. You're from Missouri. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. I first want to thank you so much for being there for us. You're saving lives, giving hope to people who have none. I also wanted to ask you about a multivitamin mineral that you might recommend, and then I also have another question.
Okay, good. So thank you. I appreciate that. I'm getting these before and afters, and I'm posting them on drberg.com/review. I am literally blown away. People all over the world sending the before and after pictures. I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Okay, so the best multivitamin, I would get a food-based complex, not a multivitamin. The wheatgrass is what I use as my multi, but I don't have any other specific recommendations for other companies, because even though they use natural vitamins, they're still out of the complex. So in nature, vitamins always come in complexes. So with vitamin C, you have bioflavonoids, you have tyrosinase, which is an enzyme that's copper, you have the P factor, the K factor, the ascorbic acid, the whole thing, versus just like one individual ascorbic acid. So I would get a food-based concentrate like the wheatgrass juice powder. That would be something. Maybe add the the nutritional yeast as a complex, because it has all the B's in it versus just one individual one. That's what I would do. And then you had one more.
Okay.
You had another question?
Yes, I'm about to start the keto diet, and in the past, I went through an acute renal failure, and I need to know if the keto would be harmful for someone like me.
What kind of failure?
I went through acute renal failure.
Kidney failure?
3 years ago.
When you went on the ketogenic diet?
Yes. No. I've never been on the keto before. No, I was just wondering if my kidney and liver would be healthy enough for starting the diet.
Well, I think the diet is a necessary thing for a damaged kidney. It's absolutely it's a requirement to start to protect the kidney. When you do intermittent fasting, there are certain factors that actually protect the kidney. You'd probably really benefit from the electrolyte powder that I have, because the potassium actually in there protects the kidney as well. Now, someone will say, well, wait a second, I thought damaged kidney, you can't do a lot of potassium. That's only if you're on a kidney dialysis, but you're not. A good amount of potassium is very kidney protective, so I would do that. I would totally do the ketogenic diet. I would cut down the insulin, which destroys the kidney. Think about, what is the number one killer to kidney? It's insulin. Look at a diabetic. They always end up with renal failure. So that's exactly, like people say, well, is my liver and kidney healthy enough? No, the diet is a necessary thing to reverse the damage. It's like that's your only option, is to go on that eating plan to fix the real cause. Yeah, definitely do it. So we have a call from Michael. You're from Sacramento. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Berg. I recently found your site, and I'm really enjoying all of the information. I had two questions for you. The first is about intermittent fasting. I've only been on a ketogenic diet for going on about 3 weeks, and I don't think I'm fat adapted yet, because I still get hungry at about mealtime for every meal, and I wake up ravenous. So as far as skipping breakfast and having that be the intermittent fast part of my day, the majority of my work day is in the morning. I'm wondering if you have any suggestions about how to make that work.
Yeah, what time do you wake up?
About 6:30.
Okay, and then you eat, right? Right at that point?
I usually eat at about 7:15 or so.
Okay, and what do you eat?
I've been eating usually 3 or 4 eggs and some little beef sausages. I don't eat pork, so I can't do bacon, but the beef sausages have a decent fat content to them.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then you go.
And that's usually about. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You were saying something.
Oh no, that was it.
Okay, and then the next time you eat is at lunch, and that's when you're really, really hungry, right?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty hungry. It's not intolerable though.
Okay.
I know I'm hungry for lunch usually by about 11 or 12.
Okay, so you're just really in this transition phase right now, and let me give you some tips on how to improve it. If you are waking up and you're ravenously hungry, like I was, you want to eat, you're eating your protein, your fat, but you want to also add potassium for that breakfast. And I would take a kale shake. Do the kale in there, maybe just a little stevia to sweeten it. You know, I have the kale shake recipe, you can go ahead and do that. And then drink the kale. Or do an avocado. Why? Because the potassium is going to start healing you of the insulin resistance that you have. Now the fact that you're able to get through lunch, you're hungry, but it doesn't sound like you have blood sugar problems, then that's good, that's fine. So eat that meal, and then you're going to have to go until dinner. And you have to do that over a period of time. That's going to get better and better and better. And then what you do as you graduate into adaptation is that you wait longer and longer. So you wait an hour, and then 2 hours, and 3 hours, and 4 hours in the morning before you eat that first meal. That's what you're going to have to do. But I think what you're missing is the potassium. And then add the apple cider vinegar to that as well. And that should actually help you. But I would recommend like 3 meals a day. Okay? And if you can't go from lunch to dinner, add a little bit more fat to that meal and make sure your potassium is high. Okay, great. So we have the last caller. Vicki, you're from Arizona. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you for all of your information. It's just amazing.
My pleasure.
I started the ketogenic diet, but kind of related to it, I have been having this itching in a left breast that's gotten worse gradually with over a year. And I noticed it with food is when it started. It would be like if I ate something, I would sweat, and I thought it was having allergic reactions to certain foods. I was on hormones for over 30 years, and the doctor took me off of it last year because of the itching, and he said just in case. Well, it's within the past year, it's just gradually gotten worse and worse. They did just a regular mammogram, and they did an ultrasound and have found nothing. But the more I've researched and studied, the more I've read that there is something called inflammatory breast cancer. I don't know if this is in your realm. I was just wondering if you knew anything about it. And the more I've read, the more the strangest thing is to eat apricot seeds if there is a chance of that.
So is it
Have you heard any of?
Is it the right breast?
It is the left breast.
Left. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just give you a couple tips that I know. I have not heard of inflammatory breast cancer, so I don't have any data on that. I don't have a lot of data on apricot pits, but I will say this, that if you you have an itching, that is usually something going on with the liver. You might be doing a little detox from all the estrogen from the liver. So there's a couple things that you can do for itching. One would be to do the estrogen balance with DIM, since you had a history of that. That cleans up all the bad estrogen. And do some type of shakes with kale, beet tops, and parsley. Maybe put a little bit of berries in there to start to really flush out the liver, which basically you have a lot of lymphatics in your liver. So that'll flush out the liver and keep your lymphatics clean, which will then stop backing up to the breast tissue, because there is lymphatics through the breast tissue. So go ahead and do that. And milk thistle is one more thing that I would probably add to it for the liver. And let us know how you do. Thanks, Vicki. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much for your wonderful questions. Until next week, watch the videos. I'll be sending out daily, and I'll talk to you real soon.